crypto, speed matters, but trust matters more. At Caleb & Brown, you're never on your own. We connect you with your own personal broker and a 24/7 team, ready to help you buy, sell, or swap over 250 digital assets with one flat, transparent fee. No spreads, no slippage, no hidden costs. Get the best market prices through deep, aggregated liquidity executed by our professional trading desk. Your funds are secured with institutional-grade cold storage for total peace of mind. Track every move in real time with our intuitive client portal, anywhere, anytime. Whether you're trading as an individual, trust, or business, we give you speed, security, and peace of mind. Thousands of clients in over 100 countries already trust Caleb & Brown. Visit calebandbrown.com and start your personalized crypto journey today.
And welcome back to another episode of the Blockchain Brew Show. Apparently, this is an episode without my welcome banner. There it is. Thanks for tuning in this morning. And I'm on the lookout to see what Trump is about to announce, right? He was supposed to speak at 10 a.m. So maybe if someone pulls another tab up, you know, I have a tab that I'm going to keep switching back and forth to as well to just try to keep an eye on it. But if someone sees it before I do, go ahead and let me know in the chat and we'll probably just flip over there and watch that. So let me make sure I do have an eye on that tab just in case. Just give me 1 second here. Not sure where to find it, honestly. Oh, wait. Yeah, I'll go with this one. Share my screen, see if you guys... I heard a monster can pop. You know, look, if you can't beat them, join them, right? No, I am going to switch to coffee. I just ran out. I still have monsters in my fridge, and I ran out of time to brew a pot, okay? I know it's not that hard. Like, you just do it. But I was in here getting stuff ready for the stream. I was reading up on some things. And next thing I know, it's already 10:15. So sometimes that's just how it goes. But yeah, I do plan on switching mostly to coffee. But let me share my screen here and make sure that you guys think this is the right thing to watch out for. I have no idea what Right Side Broadcasting Network is. Let me throw that up. Yeah, I have no idea what White Monster is good. I just got some 0 calorie rain. Yeah, JG, the White Monsters are my go-to. They're my favorite. I'm obviously, I can't exactly drink a beer at 10 in the morning. I could, but one of these days I will for sure. Um, from time to time, I'm going to make no mistake. But I can't do that every day, you know. Um, yeah, rains are pretty good. Man, they're 300 milligrams of caffeine a pop, and I know that's why people like them. You know, I used to do them too, but I don't know. That's just a lot for one serpent juice. Exactly. That's a lot for one 16-ounce drink. You know. Banana Republic says you could smoke a bowl every day, though. 300 milligrams is just a lot for one 16-ounce drink, you know? I'd rather, real meta, yeah, I'll look at, I'll go try to find Chris's tweet. Energy drinks are a very sophisticated drink, exactly. The most sophisticated community on YouTube. Yeah, I'll look for Chris's tweet and well, yeah, that's what I was saying. 300 milligrams is just a lot for one drink. I kind of like to spread that out a little bit, just a little bit, you know. So I think that this channel right here is a good one to keep an eye out for Trump's announcement. That probably has nothing to do with nothing. But Right Side Media, or Right Side Broadcasting Network, I'm not sure what that is, but it has like 1.98 million subs. So, oh, John says Crow Level Up program. That's probably what the tweet is about. I think 300 milligrams are illegal where I live. They're like, where do you live, JG? That's funny. Okay. Let's see. I'm going to switch over to a little bit of news. And guys, don't crucify me for this. I'm just going to recap a little bit of the Caleb and Brown weekly roll-up. And the reason I'm going to do this, every Tuesday morning, I think I'm going to give the spark notes of it. Just because there may be some morning audience that didn't get to see it the night before. But I promise I'm not going to make it super redundant. You know, if you already saw it last night, just hang out with me for a second, and I'm gonna kind of cherry pick some of the information and not spend quite as much time as I did last night on it, and then we'll jump into the charts. Okay, so if you have a coin that you want to look at, drop it in the chat while I'm covering this roll up, and we'll go from there. So. Crypto liquidations, 500 million, as markets sold off on strong PCE reading. So the thing that you're going to see through this is there are some people out there that worry about a 2.9%, product consumption expenditure. I think that's what it stands for, which is one of the ways that inflation is measured. Some people look at a 2.9% and they worry about rate cuts. Here's why I'm not worried about rate cuts on a high PCE inflation number. Guys, the PCE came in basically at expectation. So at Jackson Hole, Jerome Powell was already signaling a Fed pivot toward rate cuts. And then PCE came in basically at expectation. So it would be different in my mind if Powell signals a pivot at Jackson Hole and then PCE numbers come in way above expectations. That would be cause for concern to me. But Powell signaled a pivot toward rate cuts at the Jackson Hole Symposium, and then the PCE inflation numbers came in at expectation, meaning nothing should change from Powell's pivot that he signaled. So, not to mention Morgan Stanley, Coinbase have not retracted their statements about rate cuts being likely in September. And most importantly, the Fed Watch tool is showing an 89% odds of a rate cut on September 17th. And that Fed Watch tool is pretty much never wrong. The way I would like it to be wrong this time is I would like it to predict a 25 basis point cut, and then we actually get a 50 basis point cut. I don't know if that's possible. I don't know that Fed Watch tool. I don't know where those probabilities are being drawn from, and so I'm not really sure if it is possible for it to be wrong or not. I really don't know. But if it's going to be wrong, that's the way I would like it to be wrong, if that makes sense. So I'm going to skip the stock overview, other than just to say that S&P, Dow Jones, and NASDAQ are all down about 0.2%. For the week, the biggest gainer of the week was Kronos, up 68.7%, reaching a 3-year high after Trump Media and Technology Group announced plans to establish a $6.4 billion crypto treasury, of which $1 billion will be allocated to Crow in partnership with Crypto.com. This development aims to integrate Crow into its platforms Truth Social and Truth Plus. The announcement led to a 26% gain for Crow within 24 hours, while the Trump Media and Technology Group stock declined by 2% on the day of announcement. The biggest loser was Lido DAO. Who cares about Lido DAO anyways? So last week, basically the only categories that were up were exchange tokens, coming in at 4.8%. And I think that the only reason exchange tokens were in the green as a category was just basically because Crow pumped so much. File storage coins were also in the green. Everything else came in very much in the red. Smart contract platforms seemed to have stayed very stable, under a 1% decline on the week. Meme coins didn't do too bad. Store of value down 2%. The biggest loser was, staking services coming in at down by 8.9% for the week. And we just saw Lido DAO was down 10.2%. I hope that a lot of these third-party staking services, I hope that they don't do well. I hate saying that. Look, I don't wish anything bad on anybody's bags, especially if you're here in this chat or here in this community. JG says, I know a plug that has some 300s, but I don't go to his store anymore because he disrespected crypto. Wait, but where do you live, though, that 300 milligram energy drinks are like treated like a drug? Anyways, Real Meta says Zebek. We will definitely cover some Zebek. Shout out to Amelia. Shout out to John316. Shout out to Do Not You. Says, hey, Brewer, that moonshine gives you a 4-wheel drive. I have a 4-wheel drive Toyota Tacoma, but I don't think that I'd go romping in it after some moonshine. Let me change my bottom banner down here. Crypto news. Okay, Bitcoin opened last week at 113,478 and dropping to a low of 107,369, which we basically made a double bottom off of yesterday. So far, so good anyways. Total crypto liquidations hit $500 million US, on August 29th. Bitcoin dominance rose to 58.8% before dipping back down to 57.8% on August 31st. Bitcoin investment products saw $748 million US dollars in inflows this last week. We have some companies continuing to buy Bitcoin: Metaplanet, KindlyMD, and Sequence Communications, which is a French chip maker. In Ethereum news, Fundstrat's Tom Lee, good old Thomas Lee, predicts that Ethereum has reached a temporary bottom and is poised for a rally that will surpass 5,000 US dollars. He anticipates that ETH will not fall below $4,000 in the near term, citing technical analysis from Fundstrat's Mark Newton. So, this is one of the things that I'll do in TA this morning is I will take a very hard look at this call right here. That ETH will not fall below $4,000 in the near term. And I'm going to say, on the front end, I think that I agree with that. I'm going to take a really hard look here at it here in a minute, but I do think that I agree with that. What we also just saw, news came out this morning. I didn't pull up an article because it just is what it is. It's one of those articles about somebody saying something. And other than that, I don't see a lot of breaking news this morning, right? But the article was basically saying that Joseph Lubin is calling for a $500,000 Ethereum eventually, right? Which, articles that cover, some analysts saying something about price, it's just good for headlines. That's all it is. What's up, Muffhead? Howdy to you as well. And so, yeah, I'm going to take a really hard look at this in the TA. This is probably one of the most important things here. Fundstrat's Tom Lee predicts that Ethereum has reached a temporary bottom and is poised for a rally that will surpass $5,000. He anticipates that ETH will not fall below $4,000 in the near term, citing technical analysis from Fundstrat's Mark Newton. I'm going to search who Mark Newton is real quick. Let's see what kind of a track record this guy has. Mark Newton, technical analysis. Let's look at this guy on X real quick. So this is the guy that Tom Lee is citing, saying that Ethereum's not going to go under $4,000 in the near term. Let's see here. I see a gold chart. Okay, so he reposted this about Ethereum. Fundstrat's head of technical strategy, Mark Newton, sees $9,000 Ethereum by January. $5,500 Ethereum by September 7th to September 10th. Okay, so that's Mark Newton's call, and he's head of technical strategy at Fundstrat, which is the company that Tom Lee owns, right? It's basically an Ethereum treasury company these days. It's becoming the MicroStrategy of Ethereum, right? And Tom Lee is basically the Michael Saylor of Ethereum these days. Do you think Bitcoin will reach $1 million before 2040? I do. I think that it has a really good shot at reaching $1 million by 2035. And the reason I say that is because gold, I think it's very safe to say that gold can 2x by 2035, in the next decade. And there's a lot of reasons for that when you look at the chart and you look at inflation. But if gold can 2x in the next 10 years to $40 trillion market cap, I mean, the trend is that over time, Bitcoin captures a larger percentage of market cap against gold. That's been the trend, right? Think about it. Bitcoin has gone from 0% of gold's market cap to 10% of gold's market cap from 2009 to 2025. So I expect that trend to continue, not to decline, right? And I'm not saying that Bitcoin is going to just rapidly surpass gold's market cap in the next 2 decades even. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that the trend is going to continue toward capturing higher percentages of market cap against gold, right? So if Bitcoin captured 10% of gold's market cap in 15 years, or I guess it's been 16 years now, what do I think it will do in the next 10 years? Do I think it will capture another 10%? I'm not sure, but can it capture another 5%? Right? So that's the real question you have to start asking yourself, because if gold goes to a $40 trillion market cap in the next 10 years and Bitcoin manages to capture 15% of that, or it manages to capture 20% of that, you can start seeing how it's not lunacy to think that Bitcoin will hit $1 million market cap by 2035. And actually, the person that you really need to hear their analysis on that question specifically is Crypto Jeb. I like Jeb a lot. I like his TA. He's one of the original people that I started listening to in the space. And he makes a really compelling case that Bitcoin is going to $1 million by 2035. And yeah, it's worth a look. Muffhead says the U.S. Treasury is planning to sell a record $100 billion in 4-week Treasury bills in a single auction, marking an unprecedented increase in issuance for that maturity. That is pretty wild. Let's see here. Yeah, so a $5,500 Ethereum by September 7th through 10th. That is wild. I really hope so. I'm actually going to, let's see, ETH to 5,500 by September 10th, according to, I know I'm just going to leave it there for clickbait. What I'm going to do is I'm going to periodically just sort of leave that on the screen just for people to see it on their YouTube homepage and come in and call me names in the chat. So this is rage bait is what it is, for people to come in here and call me an idiot. So there we go. Who doesn't love some good rage bait though? Yeah, that is pretty wild though. $5,500 by September 10th. So we'll take a hard look at that in in the charts. We're going to assess two things in the charts related to Ethereum and Tom Lee and Fundstrat Global. Number one, can Ethereum go under $4,000 in the near term? Number two, can Ethereum go to $5,500 by September 10th? So we will look at those two things. And here are some quotes from Mark Newton. Ethereum remains bullish with regards to technical trend and momentum, and further gains look likely in September, which might run into October before a sharp pullback gets underway, which might last into mid-November before a rally higher, which ETH could reach 9K into late January 2026. There you go, Muffhead. It looks like Mark Newton is in your neck of the woods over here, looking at a January 2026 alt season. Taking additional measures to project based on the August 19th to August 24th move likely helps this to possibly reach $5,500. So my thinking is an initial zone for September 7th to 10th might fall between. Why does it say fall between and then both of the numbers are 5,500? I think this meant to say fall between 5,000 to 5,500. You see everyone see the typo right there? Anyways, bottom line, targets are difficult, but this weekly cycle remains bullish for ETH USD over the next 5 months. Wow. 5 months. 5 months of bullish trend for Ethereum. That seems a little long though, doesn't it? Let's just cover this whole thread. Why not? Okay, Bitmine's August chairman message video. ETH tailwinds argue for ETH against Bitcoin ratio to exceed 2021 high of 0.0873. Ethereum 1971 moment where Wall Street building on blockchain. Okay. In 1971, USD formally left gold standard. Gold benefited, but bigger story was innovation around synthetic dollar. Wall Street was the winner. Okay. Wall Street created new markets for synthetic USD. In following 15 years, Wall Street created massive innovation. This allowed USD to become the dominant currency versus others. Investors on Wall Street, equities outperformed gold. Today, 7 out of the top 30 largest companies in the world at financial institutions. This same 1971 moment is happening for Ethereum. See July chairman's message for discussion. Wall Street is tokenizing more than USD. Agentic AI is creating the need for token model and public chains. Similar to 1971, there's a case for building digital gold, which is Bitcoin. But like 1971, emerging opportunity in the 2025 is the platform supporting synthetic or digital assets. In 2025, this is Ethereum. Wall Street will innovate on blockchain, tokenizing many real-world assets. And we expect many other intangibles to get monetized, from royalties to IP to agentic instructions. All of this on layer 1 reliable censorship resistance blockchain, Ethereum. Ethereum price is reflecting this, making a new all-time high last week. Notice the 5-year base price. Notice the 5-year base of price. As Wyckoff famously says, the bigger the base, the bigger the breakout, due to the spooled up energy. Last base breakout in 2020 saw ETH surge from $90 to $4,866, or a 54x gain. And here's that chart zoomed out. Okay. Ah, X that out. ETH against Bitcoin ratio points to strong upside for ETH. Arguably, the tailwinds of tokenizing and AI should propel ETH against Bitcoin to all-time highs and beyond. Maybe to 0.25. That would be pretty wild. That means that one ETH would be worth 25% of a Bitcoin. I mean, that's calling for like a $30,000 Ethereum. Like, I don't know, guys. That's a little much. Using 200K Bitcoin by year end 2025 Fundstrat, ETH against Bitcoin at 8-year average equals a 12K Ethereum. 2021 high equals a 22K Ethereum. I'm much closer to that 12K target, personally. Let me come over to the chat, see what I'm missing over here. Put a +1 in the chat if you think that ETH will go closer to 12K than 25K. Let's see here. Fundstrat head of technical strategy sees 9K Ethereum by January. Well, which is it? Is it 12 to 22 or is it 9? I don't know. I don't know what's going on. Crypto DAT stands for Digital Asset Treasury. These outperform underlying tokens. MicroStrategy is the best performing large cap stock since Stellar pivot to Bitcoin strategy. Bitmine is the second largest crypto treasury in the world, worth $8.9 billion of Ethereum and cash. Bitmine has executed a strategy mirroring the success of MicroStrategy. So, Cha-Ra, if you happen to see this later and you're looking for a stock, there you have it, Bitmine. Ticker is BMNR. So, Bitmine has executed a strategy mirroring the success of MicroStrategy. There's a lot more covered in the presentation, so check it out below. Okay, there you go. Interesting stuff going on there. And if I pop back over to this tab, I think that's all I'm going to cover for that today. And come over to the charts. Shout out to Caleb and Brown for their weekly roll-up. It goes where it goes, maybe 12K, maybe 40. I'll let it run until top indicators start to flash. So that's the boat that I'm in, Ted. I see it two ways. Let it run until top indicators start to flash. And, let it run until my unrealized profit significantly improves my quality of life. Those are the two ways that every investor needs to think about this. Have you reached enough unrealized profit to alter your quality of life while still being able to keep some crypto in the market for longer term exposure? That's kind of my balance there, if that makes sense. So let's get into some charts. All right, we'll start with some Bitcoin doing some damage today. Let's see here. I only have 6 ETH. I'll just buy back in when bottom indicators start to flash. Yeah, that's true. That's something you need to consider too. I mean, if you don't have enough in the market to really benefit from leaving some of it in, then yeah, I think you do have to. I think you do have to basically rotate at the tops and bottoms, and trade the larger spot trends. So you sell during the last 20% of the top or so, and then use that and DCA back in over a period of, let's just say 12 weeks at the bottom, But DCA in, DCA out is very important to that strategy, though, because you're not going to catch the top or the bottom, as I'm sure you know. Let's see here. Okay, so we had this falling wedge on the daily, and today's green candle is looking to break out of this. So we'll see where the candle closes today. We also have the MACD is looking to put in a bullish cross here. The histogram turning from red to neutral, and the MACD line is rounding a bottom. We also have the stochastic RSI is now peaking above the dotted line here. And after a series of a couple bullish divergences on the RSI, we made a very sharp bottom for the stochastic down here near zero, and we've popped up today. The RSI is showing this bullish momentum as well, as the purple line crosses over the yellow line right here. So you have that bullish cross on the RSI on the daily. See what's going on in the chat. I'll get close enough to top and bottom where it won't really matter in the long term. Hey, good for you. I like the confidence. And I think that stands true for everybody. Look, if you can get within 10 to 20% of the top and bottom, that is close enough for it to not really matter. Let's see. A 5,500 ETH still isn't all-time high when adjusted for inflation. That's true. That's definitely true, Muffhead. It's just that they're saying 5,500 adjust expectations. Yeah, it's just that they're saying 5,500 ETH by September 10th. So, yeah, although you're right, that would still be a considerable move. That would still be an important move. I also don't know if that's actually going to happen, though, is the thing. But, hey, those guys over at BitMine are saying it, so we'll see. We will see. That's all we can do is sit back and see. So there's Bitcoin on the daily. We come down to the 4-hour. The RSI has already gotten, the stochastic RSI anyways, has already gotten up above this dotted line here. However, if you look at the last time that it did, back here, so that was showing a need for cool off, right? Well, there were other indicators that were showing that we didn't have confluence. There were other indicators that were showing that that Bitcoin wasn't as strong on the 4-hour chart as it is right now. Okay, for example, the MACD back here in the same range, the MACD was actually topping. Well, right now, the MACD has actually rounded a bottom on the 4-hour, and the 4-hour MACD line is crossing the signal line right now, which is an important momentum indicator on the MACD. So the MACD is showing momentum that we didn't have the last time that stochastic RSI was getting overbought. What does that tell me? It tells me that although the stochastic is overbought, it can just kind of cool off and still keep moving very quickly. The last time that we were overbought on the Stokes, we also did not have a 21 period moving average that was curving up. This time we do have that. Also, last time we were overbought on the stochastics on the 4-hour, we were rejecting off of a downtrending line of resistance. This time, we're showing some overbought momentum on the stochastics. However, this time we are breaking out of a downtrending line of resistance. A very, very important downtrending line of resistance, by the way. This is kind of the move that we needed to happen, in my opinion. We have a rejection off of this back here. We have a rejection here. I would call this a rejection. It made an attempt at the line for sure. And now we have a breakout of this downtrending line. So if I come back to the daily and I show this, I mean, look, we have these touch points back here, and if the daily can close with a breakout, then we're breaking out above this line here. I go down to the 1 hour and look at the same downtrending line. Reset my chart view. That line goes all the way to back here. We have a rejection there, a rejection there, a rejection there. And see, on the 1 hour, we broke out and we actually came back down. See, look at what we're doing right now, though, on the 1 hour. I'm going to remove all of my drawings so that you can see this really clearly. Not only are we breaking out of that downtrending line of resistance that I drew, we are also, on the 1 hour, breaking above the 200-hour moving average, which is really important. We tried to do it right here, and we fell back down. We tried to do it back here, and we fell down very hard. We attempted to do it back here, and then we fell down, went sideways, fell down again. So, proof is in the pudding this time. The difference between those other times, I guess we had it back here, but we do have the 21 crossing over the 200 right now. So this really all boils down to the daily being able to close above that downtrending line of resistance in the rising wedge that I drew. So that's what we're busy but listening, and smash the like. Thank you, do not you, appreciate it, man. So that's what we're going to come back and we're going to update on on the evening show for Bitcoin TA. Is we're going to come back and we're going to look at whether or not Bitcoin was able to close the daily candle above that downtrending line of resistance. And I'll tell you the number that we will be watching out for. I go back to the 4-hour chart, and I'll have to redraw the line just because I did remove my drawings. Let's draw this really aggressive, just so that that way it's staying above the 21. So the level that we need to close above today, I'm going to say I'm watching for a close above $109,781. Now, look, I like to draw things at the candle, but yeah, no, I'm gonna say, look, at the very least, Oh yeah, I had that way wrong. What am I talking about? Let's see. Sorry, I have to adjust that a little bit here. Only because I was looking at this candle, but it has to adjust right here, so it would actually be $109,315. That's the line. I'll draw a horizontal line right there. What's important about that is it also keeps you above. It also keeps you above the 21 period moving average on the 4-hour. So, yeah, we're looking for a daily close today above $109,315, and we will update on the evening stream after we see that data come in. Let's see. Now for some Ethereum TA. There were two things that we said we were going to look at on the Ethereum chart, and I'm going to remove all my drawings. And those two things were, number one, can Ethereum break under $4,000 in the short term? Yeah. And I'm going to say, let me see here. I need to go back to my weekly chart and redraw a couple lines. Okay, weekly chart. And I'm going to draw a line right here, which is basically $4,000. Okay, so we covered this on the stream last night. This green line, how much time in Ethereum's history has it spent above this line? Well, it wicked above it right here and did not close the candle. So let's look at how many candle closes above this line. We barely have one right here, but I'm going to count it. Got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. No, that candle did not close above it. If you count this green one, you have 9. You have 9 candle closes above it. I'm not going to count that green one because it was in a downtrend and it barely closed above it. So you have 8 significant candle closes above this green line in Ethereum's history. Now, right now, we've had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So, guys, we need this to kind of play out a little bit more, and we need this to continue to close some more candles above this line, because it's obviously a range that Ethereum has not spent very much time above in its whole existence. 8 plus 5, let's say 13 weekly candle closes above this line. That means there's been 13 weeks in Ethereum's entire existence above $4,000. Now, what's the difference between the last time it was at these levels and right now? Well, the last time it was above these levels, the RSI is unfortunately not in too dissimilar a place, but hopefully that means we can just cool off without crashing under it. But I will say, look at the run back here. Look at the run that the 21 period moving average went on. Hold on, I need to figure out how to... Okay, so here we have the, back here, the 21 moving average. Look at how aggressively this 21 moving average is grinding up here. Over here, the difference is the 21 has just barely made this bullish cross above. And the 150 is flipping the 200 down here as well. So, I am thinking that this means that we can potentially consolidate right here for a moment and then lift off from this range. So, September 10th, $5,500 by September 10th. I'm not too sure about that. That's kind of extreme. Although, come down to the daily and look at the fact that the stochastics can't get much lower. And come down to the 4 hour. Okay, 4 hour this is really important. The 4 hour needs to remain above the 200 moving average right here at 42.40. So that's very important to hold. If it doesn't hold it, I don't think that it can. I don't think that it's going to crash too far, just because the daily stochastics are just so low. And let's see here. Okay, one more thing that I want to cover, and then I will see you guys on the stream tonight. And I'm going to type in others against ETH. That's not what I want. Okay, well, I'll get that for tonight's stream, but I'll look at total 3 right now. Total 3 on the daily. Stochastics are oversold. How can I compare this against ETH though? Okay, regardless, I'll find that for the stream later. But the total 3 market cap is coming in at $1 trillion, and the stochastics are oversold. The MACD is turning from red to neutral on the histogram, and we have this range right here. This symmetrical triangle looking pattern, that I am expecting the total three, the altcoin market cap excluding Ethereum, to sort of trend sideways for a few more days and break out of this this triangle. If we draw a larger uptrending line of support, doesn't really have a good touch point right here, but you get the point. So, you know, the bottom of that triangle is coming in at basically about $1 trillion even. And that would be from where we are right now, that would be about another 3% move down. So, you know, we'll see if that happens. That's certainly not the end of the world at all. 3% is just another Tuesday in crypto, right? So there you go. Oh, Daniel Tejas says check out Pulse Chain. All right, I'll look at it. What's up, pal? Pulse Chain. Can I chart Pulse Chain on TradingView though? Or do I have to go to like Dex Screener or something to do it? I mean, I can look at Pulse against Wrapped ETH, and nothing looks too good about that. Let me just search Pulse Chain chart. Share this tab instead. And here's the candlestick chart on TradingView, I mean on CoinMarketCap. And now on TradingView. So there we go. Pulse Chain against USD. I mean, it's in danger of making a lower low right here. That's the 1 hour. Let me look at the daily. Yeah, so if it's sitting on top of this horizontal line, if it loses that level at a lot of zeros, 4050, if it loses that level, I think it's in trouble. And specifically, I think it's in trouble because this line sort of cuts the chart in half almost. You know, you can see, although I will say, it doesn't cut the chart in half at all. It actually represents, being above this line represents some of Pulse Chain's biggest moves. So, you know, you have one of two things just from simple support and resistance. If it can bounce off of this line of support, start closing some green candles above this line, then I'd have to say that you're looking at taking out this high. And if you can take out this high, you could be looking at targeting this high up here. So first things first is you need some strong green candles bouncing off of this line. If not, you're in danger of coming down here, and that's just basic. That's just basic support and resistance. I don't have my other indicators up right here because I don't know why. When you just go to TradingView, Pulse chain against USD is not very easy to search. So there you go on that. I tried my best. Theta goes to $3 by October 1st. You should chug a bottle of Everclear 190 on the stream. Cheers. I don't know about Everclear 190, but if ADA goes to $3 by October, I will chug something on the stream. And if ADA goes to $4 by October, then I'll chug something on OnlyFans. How about that? So there you have it. I will see everybody on tonight's evening stream. Thanks for being part of the most hydrated community on YouTube. Cheers.